All right. So Milton, what's on the radar for you?
Just participating in a couple of community events. We have a youth art exhibit that is going to be opening soon at Creative Connections Arts Academy High School, but we're going to be showcasing, it's the inaugural exhibition for the new studio gallery.
Okay.
We had a portable installed at the school, and we turned the portable into a permanent installation space so that the art programs for the elementary school and the high school would have a permanent exhibition space where we could showcase the students' works. So the inaugural exhibition is going to be on April 27th, and we're going to be showcasing the children from the elementary school's work that I do in their after-school program.
Okay.
It's called Selfies.
So these are the children that you're working with.
Yes.
Some of your students.
It's their work. It's a program that I'm doing in both districts. I'm actually doing it in Twin Rivers District, and I'm doing it in Sacramento Unified School District. The Twin Rivers show is going to be at the new studio gallery that's on the high school campus, and it's entitled Selfies. It's a self-esteem project.
Okay, cool.
And
cool.
It's rooted in the fact that we are trying to look at children and their use of social media, because this is really the first generation that is growing up fully engrossed in technology.
Right.
So their whole existence is around technology. Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Kik. So
What's Kik? I never heard of Kik.
It's a social media app.
Good. Write that one down.
Yeah, I don't know about no Kik.
Every day is something new for us. Yeah, but it might be ingrained into the We learning some new stuff here.
Kick? I like Kik. Kick who? Who you gonna kick?
So how important is it, for children to be involved in the arts?
Well, it's extremely important. Well, one of the things I tell people is that, for people to think that it's not important always puzzles me, because I remember, and I'm not a spring chicken, but when I was growing up, art was, woven into your everyday, school participation.
Right.
And it wasn't just visual arts. You had theater, you had dance, you had band, music.
Right.
I appreciate it now, but I can honestly say it wasn't too cool getting on the bus with a baritone and trombone case.
Take it up all.
Like, man, why I gotta take music?
Yeah.
But
you didn't have a sexy instrument.
Exactly.
That wasn't sexy.
Trombone, baritone ain't sexy instrument.
Yeah. Saxophone.
Well, I had the sax. I had.
That's still a big case too.
It is. It's awkward.
But it's sexy though. It's sexy. It's not
It's only sexy after you take it out the case, though.
I would rather carry the saxophone.
But the one thing, that I miss is actually seeing young kids at the schools, leaving school holding their violin case, holding their trumpet cases. I miss that. Because that was something that seemed natural to me as a young person, and to be at so many school sites and not see that experience. And then you only see that experience when you are probably in more affluent communities.
Yeah.
It starts to really make you think about, the discrepancy and how art played a role in my everyday upbringing. But I was fortunate. I actually got a chance to go to a public art school. So, but the funny thing is that they eliminated our theater, our dance, and our music during the winter break of my 9th grade year.
Oh wow!
You guys went.
We came back. We came back after Christmas, and
everything was gone. Huh?
Pack up all of the instruments. They going down to technical high. I was like, what?
Whoa.
So the very next year, we lost 1/3 of our student body because parents didn't re-enroll their kids because they were there for drama and music. So we were a full art school when I started. This is the Renaissance School of Arts in North Oakland. But by the middle of my 9th grade year, we were converted because of budget cuts in Oakland to an all visual art school. Now, for me, it worked out pretty good because visual art was my focus.
Right.
But we lost a lot of people at that school. Actually, Money B from Digital Underground, he was at my school. He was one of the guys that I went to school with, and he transferred after his 9th grade year and went to Berkeley High to continue to pursue music. And then I have a friend, Krista Collins, who left because she wanted to do theater, and then she ended up becoming a filmmaker. She's a filmmaker now. So looking at how I went to art school, and then getting back in the schools with my kids now, just seeing their face, getting them ready for their exhibition that's getting ready to open. And this is an after-school program. Creative Connections Arts Academy, is fully immersed in the arts. They have art woven into their curriculum, and then they have a host of after-school activities for their children too. So I'm there at the elementary school as an after-school teacher, and this program that I introduced to them is actually called Selfies. Now, we're doing the same program at Father Keith B. Kinney here in the Oak Park community as well, but we're doing it with 7th and 8th graders. And it's a self-esteem building project. We do art, but we, deal with issues that are relevant to them.
Right.
So we're working on their thing right now, and it's the whole premise is how you see yourself greatly impacts how others see you, treat you, and judge you.
Okay.
So can you see what I see? And the projects are designed to get them to not only look at themselves and their behavior, but to also look at the messages just being in an urban community, can weigh heavy on people.
Right.
And how much do you let your surroundings dictate your own behavior? And then by behavior, how much of that actually dictates what your presence becomes? Because sometimes you can just read someone's body language and tell that they feel defeated.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see somebody walk into the room and they light up the entire room. That's all in how much they believe about themselves. The one thing that I find interesting in trying to use art to combat is external self-esteem. Because kids are so concerned about what they have on. Do they have the latest shoes? Do they have the up-to-date jacket or whatever? And that's just a mask. They're just trying to camouflage things that internally they might be hurting or not, openly honest about or willing to deal with, and camouflaging it by their material dress.
Well, oftentimes what I have noticed, and I think Umar Johnson said this too as well. I was watching a video where he was talking about this, and it made a lot of sense where he's talking about that, we buy all this stuff to add worth because we don't feel worthy. And so we buy this stuff to boost our worth to ourselves, to say, hey, I am somebody because I have these shoes. I am somebody because I got this new hat. I am somebody because I can afford these things. And if you can't afford those things, which, growing up, I did not, I had the pro wings, what I'm saying? Or they call it in the hood, the roach wings. Yeah. So
I had pro wings at one point too. So.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not alone, brother.
Yeah. Where you feel like, oh my God, do you have somebody down there that got the new Jordans? And it's like, oh man, he must be somebody because it's the same thing with the cars, right? You got these people that, and I think that's what plague us as a people as well, is that we have this external self-worth thing where you have to.
We kind of putting value into the wrong things.
We think those things add value to us, we surround ourselves with those things where you don't look into the mirror and without anything on and say, hey, I am somebody already. I don't need anything else to add to this. Well, I'm actually putting. Everything else is icing on the cake.
Well, yeah, and if you look at young people, because my whole thing is this: and I'm just gonna keep it 100. If you work 60 hours a week and you want an expensive car and you can afford it, treat yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't know too many 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Which means somebody is providing this for them.
Yeah.
And when I see children come to school and they are adorned with $350 outfits, but they are struggling at grade level.
Well, those are things.
That's a serious issue.
Yeah. And
that's what I'm saying. It's like the outside
it's
thing.
being passed down to the children. That's exactly what's.
It's a plague, and I'm not going to be so dramatic to say that it's a social disease, but it is external self-esteem, and you hit it on the head. And several scholars, Dr. Umar Johnson, several other scholars, Dr. Cornel West, Michael Eric Dyson, they have discussed this issue openly about that. But here's the one thing, and I'm a more practical, hands-on person when I look at these issues, because I'm trying to engage these young people and just to get them to see something that's very simple. Are you excited about learning? And what excites you about learning?
Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, and that's indicative of the whole situation, right? You had the whole push to save money, and they pushed art out of the curriculum, right?
Exactly.
And by doing that, it's scientifically proven that if you have art in your curriculum, that it helps every other subject that kid is in. So it quadruples everything else. It's understanding, it's empathy, all that stuff is played into it because art is a form of empathy. Like you said, how do you see yourself from the outside in, and then not only that, but also know what you're feeling. It's a whole host of things. I mean, poetry, everything, visual art, it all helps with the development of the internal. And by them doing that, by them taking it out, it has harmed us in a way, And I really think that that's why we have to, get it put back in if we can. Or I'm so grateful that you are working with kids in such a powerful way.
Not a lot of them are that lucky, Milton. You know that.
And that's true. But let me make one point, and you bring up a very interesting point, and I just want to hammer it home. Look at music. Now, I'm not a musician, but I played an instrument, in school from the 4th grade through the 9th and a half grade. I played instruments, but I wasn't a musician. Today, I would never consider myself a musician, but music is an integral part of my fine art. I do a lot of paintings that deal with music as a subject matter. One of the things that we struggle with, especially here in California and California public schools, is English as a second language. And it puzzles me that we don't increase the amount of music teachers in public schools. And there's an argument, and people say, well, we don't have the resources for this, but we have children that are struggling to learn the English language. But here's the thing. Every study, like Lawrence has just said, if you have music at a school, you are going to increase the literacy rates and the reading at a school for 2 reasons. Mm-hmm. Language is communication. Music is communication. Yeah. Music is a language.
It is a language.
Yeah.
If you look at
it's
sheet
a written
music,
language, yeah.
If you look at sheet music and you don't know those characters,
right.
You don't know the language.
You don't know the language.
So there is a teacher in class teaching you, whether you're treble clef or bass clef, on how to read a piece of sheet music. And not only read the music, now you have to pick up this 3-dimensional object, an instrument.
And then translate.
And then notate it.
Right.
And notate the sound correctly.
But not only that, but you have to put feeling into it.
So now what is the difference between that and picking up an English book
and speaking it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or picking up a Spanish book.
Or a math book.
And learning it.
Yeah.
Or picking up a French book and learning it. It's all language.
You listen to some of these hip hop artists, okay? Some freestyle, they can flow it right off the head, but then a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that, man. That's hard work.
It is. But if you can do them both, and a lot of them can do it both ways, because, it's writing.
Yeah.
It's incredible what comes off their brains onto a piece of paper.
They are geniuses.
Through music. And
to do it in a rhythmic
but it's like
pattern.
But not only that, but you coming off the head. And you just doing it from wherever you're getting that from, and then I have set in on some of these ciphers. They call them ciphers, right? Mm-hmm. Where they get around in a circle and then they have these battles, right?
Yes,
and they just do these things, and it's amazing. It's almost like watching a drug dealer count money, right? It's like when you watch a drug dealer count money, you're like, God damn it, you a genius.
Yeah, right. Drug dealer's a businessman, not in the right business, but he's a businessman.
I know, it's like, man, you doing mathematical equations.
Yes,
you're like, where my money? Well, how you know I can, but
you owe me $250 for 3 weeks ago.
I know, you probability. He's like, nah, if you had all this dope, you should have been able to give me back all this. But them doing that, it's amazing. And then you rhyming it. Then having to rhyme it, and then all that makes sense.
That's a heck of a talent.
And then it makes sense where you be like, you have little punch jokes, people laughing and stuff, you be saying some crazy stuff. I'm like, oh my God.
All through music.
Yeah.
It's, I'm still trying, when I listen to some of these rappers today, I think they need that bouncy ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of them you can't even understand.
I know. That's that trap music. That's that trap music.
Admit it that he be stretching some of those.
That's that trap music. That's that trap music. You be like, what the hell are you talking about?
You brought up an interesting point when you say watching a drug dealer count money. For anybody who has ever watched the HBO series The Wire, It's like season 3 when they're talking to the young guys in The Wire. There's this one episode where one of the young guys is talking about his name is Wallace. He actually is the gentleman who ended up playing Apollo's son in Creed.
Yeah.
Michael Buell.
Yeah, he was on The Wire. So in one episode, he's trying to tutor the young little boys that he's looking for, and the little guy is asking him for help with his homework, and Wallace is like, telling him, the word problem, and the little boy can't get it. So then he tells him, okay, if I give you so many vowels and somebody hands you a certain amount of money, the boy knew the answer right off the top. And he said, now how can you keep the count right, but you can't do your school math? And the little boy looks Wallace dead in his face and he says, because if I mess up the count,
it's like
you're gonna get beat down. You're gonna get beat down.
So the repercussion of something happening
is
when
violence.
you don't get that study right, was his motivation to learn it.
Well, that's okay.
So
go ahead.
we look at the one thing and say, children today, they don't think that there's any repercussion if they go to school and don't achieve it.
But not only that, it's not. It don't even speak to their life, to what they're living. And that's the problems with a lot of the SATs and stuff of nature, where it don't really. They ask them these questions, and it's not really about their life. They don't know what a vestibule is. What the hell is a vestibule? What I'm saying? They don't know what.
Culture here.
Okay, you're like, what the hell is that? So and they don't. It's like breakfast nook. What's that? What's a breakfast nook? But so it's a very interesting problem. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna have you sit in on our Observer News.
Well, we have another. He has another event.
Oh, you have another one? Other than selfies?
Yeah. Other than the 2 events we have with our youth, we have an art talk that is actually coming up here at Underground Books with Dr. Monica Crooks and Anna Marie.
Okay.
Their work is currently on display here at Underground Books. And
very nice work.
The art talk is going to take place the last Saturday of the month, April 30th. Okay. And it's going to be titled 2 Points of View. And it's going to be an intimate conversation that I will moderate with both artists. And the work is phenomenal. I mean, if you haven't come to the bookstore, come in, check it out. Dr. Monica Crooks is a licensed dentist, but she does paintings in her spare time, and they are wonderful works of art. And Anna Marie is a celebrated author. She's a published author. She's a poet, spoken word performer.
But once again, if you want to see these ladies' work, it is on the walls here at Underground Books.
And it's great work.
Dr.
It's great work. I really like that one. I like that.
Really beautiful.
Would it be because
very diverse stuff here?
No.
Come on down, check it out.
It's almost Aboriginal. It's almost Aboriginal when you look at it. Yeah.